Hello, and welcome to the Knit and Grace podcast. Let's talk about shape inclusive designers. Hello, and welcome back if you're a returning viewer. If you are new here, my name is Mia, and I am the maker behind Knit and Grace. And today I bring you what will likely be the last video in my shape inclusive design or knitting series that I've been running so far here on the channel. The first one started with just a knit and chat around size inclusivity. The second episode was around getting better fitting garments. And so today I wanted to talk about some shape inclusive designers and also provide you a few additional resources when it comes to your own sort of fitting journey when it comes to your knitwear. So we'll go ahead and jump right in to today's video. I am going to feature 5 shape inclusive designers. So the way that I'm going to format this today is I will have my Rabbit app open and I will be doing a screen recording so you all can see what I'm seeing as I go ahead and share more about these designers. So the first designer that I am featuring today is someone that I have featured on the podcast before with some of my finished objects, and it is Aimee Sher. And as you can see here, I have pulled up the various patterns that they have on Ravelry. It looks like there are a total of 28 different designs, varying from garments to knitted accessories. And so you can see her repertoire of work here. She has quite a few sock patterns, which are really beautiful. She has a couple of shawl patterns that are also absolutely stunning. And what I'm going to focus on today are some of their garments. So the first garment that I'm going to feature here today is one that I have personally made, which is the Building Blocks Drop. And so as you can see from these pictures, it is a drop shoulder pullover sweater. And there are various views from a full pullover to a vest view with a standard hem, as well as a pullover and a vest view with a high-low split hem. Something that I love about Aimee and their Ravelry page is that they do provide schematics for all of their patterns, so you know exactly what you're getting into before you purchase a pattern. And so here you can start to see some of the tester pictures as well as the various pictures that Aimee has taken. And here actually they chose to feature one of my pictures, which was amazing for me. But as you can see, this is a truly size inclusive pattern. Getting into the pattern itself, you can knit it in both unspun and woolen spun yarns. It is a worsted weight at a gauge of 17 stitches to 24 rows. And so I'm not going to get super into detail into each of these patterns because I really want to feature the designer themselves. But this particular pattern is described as the perfect basic with flawless fit, with thoughtful underarm shaping and optional bust darts to achieve a better fit across all sizes and make sure the shoulder drop really is at the mid upper arm, not all the way in the elbows. Plus, there are bust darts to make sure your bust is fully accommodated. So this is probably one of my favorite designs of theirs, and I have knit it twice, and I have plans to knit it again in the future, and I just absolutely love this design. In terms of Aimee's designs, they are fully size inclusive, and again, they are shape inclusive because in their patterns, they go into very, very good detail in terms of not only adding in bust darts if you need it, but also accommodating if you need less fabric in the bust area. Also making adjustments for sleeves and biceps are, a big thing in their patterns as well, so that you can really get a customized fit across all of their patterns. In terms of their size ranges, I know that this particular pattern is 30 inch to 62 inch. But again, in terms of the recommended sizing, not seeing the full recommended sizing, but in terms of, the way that their size charts are based on upper bust measurements. So you can really get a custom fit because you're really fitting your garment to your shoulders as opposed to your bust, and then making adjustment from there depending on your bust size. In terms of their bio, Aimee is a Taiwanese American immigrant and knitwear designer based in St. Louis, Missouri. They are passionate about joyful knits full of thoughtful design details and hidden surprises. Aimee's designs are often inspired by people, places, food, and art from her specific cultural background. Aimee is also the host of the Thoughtfully Made Fiber podcast on YouTube and the Knit Diverse Cal, which ran from March through April of 2021, and now writes a blog series on their website about knitting a more just and equitable world. And so the Knit Diverse Cal has actually been going on yearly since 2021, which is a really great cal to participate in every spring. And so the next designer that I want to feature is Jennifer Parroccini of JP Knits Things, and she is out in the Pacific Northwest. So in terms of her bio, she says, "I love saturated colors, sunlight, knits that you have to think about while you're working on them, stacks of finished objects, exploring new colors and textures and techniques, prolific knitter, perfectionist designer. I live with my husband, my elderly dog, and my preschool-aged daughter in Portland, Oregon." And she does have a newsletter available that you can subscribe to. So in terms of Jennifer's patterns on Ravelry, there are 28 patterns here on Ravelry, and again, all ranging from garments to accessories that you can peruse to your heart's desires. I really love her use of color. She even has some children knitwear design as well. So just beautiful, beautiful designs on her Ravelry page. With regard to Jen, she also has a very, shape inclusive philosophy. If you follow her on Instagram, actually she'll often host lives where she just, talks more in depth about various fitting sort of not necessarily fitting guides, but how to achieve the right fit or fit philosophies around different measurements when it comes to knitwear. So definitely, if you are on Instagram, make sure you are following her those lives, and she often posts them to her highlights reels as well, are just absolutely amazing. In terms of her patterns, the ones that I tend to be drawn more to are the textured patterns. And so I haven't knit any of her patterns yet, and I do want to knit one in the future. And what I love about it is that, you know, her patterns really involve a lot of texture and color and just beautiful details. And for me, I would be really interested to see how the shaping works with you know, all of the texture and all of the complexity that comes in with her patterns. I know Mega of Skeins of Dreams has test knitted for Jen quite a few times and has made absolutely stunning works of art. So I'm really excited to, in the future, hopefully in the very near future, because I think that I'm also going to cue one of her projects or one of her patterns for my Rhinebeck trip. I will get to cast one on. But this one that I want to show you is called the Postscript. And so I'm really right now just having a cardigan moment. I wear cardigans all the time, yet I don't have a lot of knitted cardigans, believe it or not. And this is one that just appeals to me on so many levels. Like, the texture here is absolutely stunning. It looks good in a mildly variegated yarn as well as a solid yarn. I love the shawl collar, like everything about this. Like, just look at how beautiful this cardigan is. I mean, what can you say other than this cardigan is just absolutely stunning. In terms of this particular cardigan, it is knit on worsted weight yarn, so that means that it'll fly off the needles, maybe, hopefully, at a gauge of 19 stitches and 30 rows. And again, it is in her full size range, which she features 12 sizes. In terms of the description for this cardigan, the postscript invites you to write a love letter to a stranger and press it together between the pages. Paper thin as dried violet petals of the oldest work in your antique bookshop. Soft, feminine, deliberate, and just a little mysterious, Postscript is all about juxtaposition and contrast. This elegant cardigan features a towering shawl collar, a graceful set-in sleeve, hip shaping, and optional bust shaping. So, I mean, just listening to that or just reading that description is just, you know, I want to cast this on so badly. So the next designer that I want to feature is another designer that I have knit several patterns of hers in the past, and actually she was my first introduction into proper shaping for my knitted patterns. So I'm very excited to share her with you, and it is Jacqueline Ciesklak. So pulling up her Ravelry page here, you can see there are about 40 different designs, and you know, just her work is absolutely stunning. And you can see that it ranges from garments to sweaters for your animals. She actually even has 2 sewing patterns out, so absolutely amazing. And yeah, I mean, all of Jackie's patterns are just absolutely amazing. As you can see here, there are also accessories. So much great stuff. Oh, I didn't even realize she had a baby pattern too. So she has a child's pattern as well. So tons and tons of designs to choose from. So the pattern that I'm going to feature is one that I have personally made and have featured here on the podcast before, maybe. Or I've definitely worn it on the podcast. I don't know that I've completely featured it on the podcast because I did knit it before I had the podcast. But it is the Ursina. And this is the pullover. This is a pullover, and so there are technically two different patterns. There's Ursa, which is a knit with a bulky weight yarn, and Ursina. You have two options with this pattern, which makes it really versatile, and you can knit it in either a sport weight or worsted weight. And so here you can see the pattern pictures. Again, Jackie provides very detailed schematics, which I love, which really helps you identify if the pattern is going to work for you, as well as all of the in detail yardage information. And so this is a really beautiful raglan shaped pullover. And I think what makes it really special is that that sort of twisted rib, or no, actually it's half fisherman's rib. Is it half fisherman's rib? Or actually it might be brioche. We'll find out in the description. I have made this. I don't remember. It's either half fisherman's rib or brioche. I'm pretty sure it's actually brioche. But it has this beautiful V sort of feature detail here. You can see it here. That is created by that stitch. And that stitch also creates the raglan shaping as well as a faux seam down the side. So it's absolutely beautiful, stunning pattern, and it is super simple to knit up. So again, this one can be knit on both sport weight or worsted weight, although it does show the worsted weight gauge, and it is available in 12 sizes. And so let's pull up the description. So Ursina is a classic sweater with simple construction and unique detailing, a rework of my Ursa sweater pattern, which was designed for bulky weight yarn in 9 sizes. This new pattern has been graded for both sport and worsted weight in 12 sizes. The sweater is constructed from the top down with raglan shaping for the sleeves, optional horizontal bust darts in 6 cup sizes, and instructions and yardage details for cropped or full length. Like the original pattern, Ursina includes directions to try it on as you work and notions to help you tweak the size according to your preference. So again, Jackie is a designer that, is not only size inclusive, but also extremely shape inclusive. And I love that a lot of her patterns you're able to try on as you go to really get that customized fit. So again, you're not only talking about just, your bust darts, but you're also talking about armhole depth, bicep width, etc., so that you can get the perfect fit. And I just realized that I did not share her bio, so let me go ahead and do that now. So this is her bio. I am a cultural anthropologist turned designer, teacher, and maker based in California. My training as an anthropologist shapes my work as a fiber artist, which I approach with a critical, fact-positive agenda. As a designer, I am deeply invested in creating patterns that are inclusive and accessible for a wide range of body types and abilities. I began making my own clothes because I could not find the things I wanted to wear in my size. I began designing because I found a community of makers who shared this experience and needed patterns to guide them. I am grateful every day that I get to do this work and that people continue to find meaning in it. I live with my 2 tiny dogs, Rye and Nix, who are the center of my world. I love being in water, cooking for friends and chosen family, and collaborating on all kinds of creative projects. I am queer and my pronouns are she, they. And so you can find more information about her website and all of that on here on her Ravelry profile. So the next designer that I want to feature is Julie Robinson of Julie at Work. And she's another not only size inclusive but also shape inclusive designer, and similar to JP Knit Things, she actually consults on not only shape inclusivity and making sure that your patterns are shape inclusive, but she has a whole pattern grading boot camp for newbie designers as well as for tech editors. So there are a lot of resources when it comes to the design process in general that Julie has available. In terms of her bio, so Julie Robinson does reside in Brooklyn, New York. I was raised in Michigan, but now I call New York home. I work as a freelance fashion designer. I share my apartment with a dozen plants, a handsome man, and a rotating roster of fermentation projects. So that is a little bit about Julie. And yeah, so I think that this is something that is really interesting because she has a fashion background. And so she actually was a fashion designer from, a garment perspective. So she really brings that perspective to sort of knitwear design, which I think is really great. And I think I've mentioned in my size inclusive knit and chat where, I think becoming a sewist has made me a better knitter in terms of being able to get the perfect fit for myself. So Julie does have 27 patterns on Ravelry, and so they range from self-published patterns to collaborations with various yarn companies such as Knit Collage, and then they're also ranging from garments to accessories as well. So this is the full view of all of the various patterns. And then another pattern, which is actually how I first learned about Julie, was when she released this particular pattern or pattern set that I think is absolutely stunning. This is the Brighton tank, and there are shorts that go along with it as well, which you can see here. And so this is just a beautiful camisole that features this sort of, I guess, I don't know, it's like a faux lace, but it's like a slip stitch back. And then as you can see from the front, it's just, a nice, provides a nice coverage. And this was designed to be kind of like a sleep set. But I think the tank is really beautiful and can be worn on its own with some like nice slacks and maybe like a jacket or anything like that. I just think it's a really stunning top. So this is designed in DK weight with a gauge of 23 stitches to 30 rows. And it is available in 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 sizes. And so the description here is Brighton is a versatile tank and short set named after Brighton Beach. It can be worn as a cover-up at your favorite swimming spot or for a stroll down to the boardwalk. The delicate lace details and lingerie-inspired silhouettes means it's perfect for lounging at home, enjoying your favorite snack, luxuriating with a scented candle, and enjoying a good book or your favorite trashy TV show. Ditch the shorts and pair the tank with your favorite jeans or linen pants, and you're ready for a leisurely outdoor brunch. The Brighton tank is worked bottom up in the round. The back features a faux smocking stitch and gathered peplum, and the I-cord straps make this design easy to customize for modesty. So a really stunning pattern by Julie Robinson. Okay, so our fifth and last designer is someone that you might not think of when you think about shape inclusive and is sort of maybe a little bit out of the box, but I will let you know why I'm including her in this roundup, and it is Ailbiona McLochlainn. And so if you have been following the podcast, you know that I love her designs. I have actually knit her designs before as well. And I have quite a few that are queued up in my Ravelry queue to knit up. And so if you do know anything about her designs, you may know that she doesn't necessarily incorporate your traditional shaping with regard to like bust shaping and things like that that would make you think of her as a shape inclusive designer. However, many of her designs are unisex, and so designed with both the male and female body in mind. And so there is a lot of shaping options as well as views that you can knit each of her designs in to make sure that it's fitting both male and female bodies. And then of course, you know, she takes very special, she pays very special attention, especially to like things like shoulder shaping, and really walks you through how to get the proper fit in a lot of garments, especially you know, her top-down garments that you can try on as you go along. And so that is why I'm including her in this roundup, because of, you know, that attention to detail in terms of shaping and making sure that her designs are really shaped well to flatter many bodies. And then from there, if you ever needed something like adding in bust shaping, you could definitely do that with any number of free tutorials that are out there. So in terms of her patterns, as you can see, there are tons of them on Ravelry. There's 110 designs. I'm not going to go scrolling through this all because it would just take forever, but you can see that she has a number of garment designs as well as accessories, and then you can even see that, you know, men are featured in some of her designs. So you know, just absolutely stunning portfolio of work that she has. And there are just so many of her designs that I want to knit up. I mean, I think you could just, you know, you could just keep looking forever and ever and ever and ever at all of these absolutely stunning designs of hers. In terms of her bio, let's go ahead and pull that up. Okay, so her bio on Ravelry is pretty short. It just says, you know, she's in Donegal, Ireland, a knitter, designer, and recovering academic based in County Donegal, Ireland, rides a bicycle. So yeah, short and sweet and to the point. But the design that I wanted to feature is, here we go. It is the last long pullover. And so this is one that I have in my queue, and I even have yarn that I want to use for it later this year. Hopefully I get around to knitting it, but this is one that is a bit in my queue and I am really excited to look at. And so again, this is what I love about her designs is, like, you know, because they're unisex, she often features them both on male and female bodies, which is absolutely amazing. You can see it on a number of fits, whether it's, you know, a closer fit with less positive ease or no ease, to a baggier fit with a lot of ease. I mean, this is just absolutely stunning. This is fisherman's rib, so brioche knitting. So yeah, I think it would take a little bit of concentration, especially because I do want to knit this up in unspun yarn. But I mean, I don't even know like what else to say about this. It's just like such a stunning pullover. It's just look at the detail here on the shoulder shaping. I mean, that's just absolutely amazing. So in terms of the design, it is knit in DK weight yarn, a gauge of 13 stitches to 36 rows in, so it is half fisherman's rib. So not as difficult to knit. I definitely love knitting in half fisherman's rib. And so let's see our pattern information. It is available in 8 sizes, and so the description is a play on words that speaks to the enduring mythologies of fishermen's garments. Last long means cargo ship in Irish Gaelic. Whether you find yourself battling the elements at sea or wading through puddles closer to home, this sculptural take on the fisherman's rib sweater is a cozy, wearable classic. And it does have a companion beret that you could knit with this pullover. So it's just absolutely stunning, and one that I will definitely be knitting in the hopefully not too distant future. So that's about all I have to share with you all with regard to the 5 shape inclusive knitwear designers that I'd like to share with you today. If you know of any others, definitely be sure to, give us their information in the comments down below so that we can check out their designs. And then I want to talk about some resources that I have gathered for you. Before I get into sort of the resources themselves, I do want to sort of caveat this with, I love making these videos, and these videos, as I'm sure you can imagine, are very research intensive. And this is not my full-time job, and I actually make little to no money. Actually, I make no money off of this channel in terms of what I put in and what comes out. And that's not why I make these videos. I really make these videos because I love sitting here with you, and these are things that I'm passionate about and I love to research, and I want to share the information that I have with others. That said, when I share this information, I think that some of the implied sort of, or I guess the implication here in my sharing this information is that this is a jumping off point for you to be able to do your own research and be able to sort of have a stepping off point in your knitting journey, especially as it comes to if a lot of people who are watching me are also similar bodies and are thinking about size inclusivity, shape inclusivity. And I know that we like to watch podcasters and things like that who have similar body shapes than us, so that we can see what they're making and see what looks good on their bodies so we can make it on our bodies. I know that's definitely one of the things that I look for in some of the podcasters that I follow. So yeah, I just want to sort of say that these videos are a jumping off point. I love making them, and I'm willing to provide as much information as I'm willing to provide. But sometimes I get these comments where people are kind of asking me for dissertation level research, and that's what the internet's for. A lot of this research I've done on my own, and a lot of the research that I share here on the channel is actually free. So I just want to sort of put that out there, because a couple of my videos I've gotten a few comments where in a few DMs where people are asking me to do lots more research, and I'm happy to do as much research as I'm happy to do. And then kind of the expectation is that you will use this as a jumping off point to be able to do your own research. So with that, I have gathered a few resources for you today, in addition to the resources that I've chatted about in my last 2 videos. And I will create a playlist so that they're all 3 together if you want to look at them all together and have that information available to you. Come to think of it, I'll actually also just reshare any information that I shared in the previous video in today's video as well, and I'll make sure that the resources information is the same across the 3 videos. But I think first and foremost, the best research you could do is supporting these shape inclusive designers. And so the reason I say that is because you can do all of the research in the world, but until you actually knit a shape inclusive pattern that's walking you step by step, okay, this is when to stop to measure, these are the measurements you want to take beforehand before you start knitting so you get the right fit. I think that there is lots of valuable free research out there, but sometimes because it's free, it lacks in the proper application of the research. So I think that that is really where supporting these shape inclusive designers is first and foremost when it comes to your own journey in properly fitting your garments to your body. So that said, there are a number of free resources as well as paid resources out there. And the first one that I want to highlight is actually Jen Parroccini's website, JP Knit Things, is an absolute treasure trove of free information. Like the amount of information that she puts into her blogs that are completely free is mind-blowing to me. So definitely I would say you need to start there. That is where you need to start. Just, you know, pull up those articles on your commute or, you know, whatever it might be, and that is the best place to start. The next resource that I have to share with you is victoriamarchantknits.com, and she has a really great website. I believe she does have a few patterns on her website, but she specifically has a section in her website that's called Resources for Fat Knitters, which I think is absolutely amazing. She not only links to her own blog posts, but also blog posts by other designers and makers around size inclusivity, shape inclusivity, and there are even some paid for classes that she links to on there with regard to getting the proper fitting garment. So definitely a really great resource to have in your back pocket. The next resource that I have is Coco Knits. And so Coco Knits has a number of free video tutorials, and so these tutorials are ones that I will sometimes go to if a pattern doesn't give me explicit instruction and I'm adding in shaping on my own. And so there are a bunch of really great video tutorials on bust darts, as well as other video tutorials available through Coco Knits that you can check out. And then lastly, I have the Interweave Focus on Fit series, which is actually part of the research that I did for my perfect fitting garment video. And so they have a series of articles on their website that help you go through your fitting journey, from understanding a pattern schematic to what measurements you need to take to get a perfect fitting garment, to how to actually take those measurements, and then ultimately how to apply all of that information to your sweater pattern that you might be making, or garment pattern that you might be making. So yeah, so these are some of the resources, as well as a few designers that are doing the work in the shape inclusive realm. You know, while size inclusivity is definitely come to the forefront and you know, sort of much more prevalent, shape inclusivity is definitely not something that is 100% there yet, and these are some of the designers that are definitely doing the work when it comes to that. So yeah, so I hope that you enjoyed this last video in the shape inclusive, size inclusive, fitting, I don't know, series. I haven't necessarily officially called it anything because these kind of videos came from requests that you all have made. But yeah, I think that this is going to be the last for sure in this series of videos. And again, I'll create a playlist so that you can watch them all if you haven't already, or if you'd like to, you know, go back and reference any of the videos, you're able to do that very easily. As always, if you enjoyed this and all of my content, please be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. If you have any thoughts on any of these videos, definitely make sure to leave me a comment down below, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.